Hello and welcome to the introduction to Marvel's Midnight Suns. I was invited to a preview event last week in Baltimore at the Firaxis studio to play some Marvel's Midnight Suns. I was allowed to record even up to 4.5 hours of footage as well, which I have here in front of me now. I'm going to do a bunch of videos on this, but I'm going to start off with a introduction. So this is about the first 30 minutes or so of the game. I wanted to start with this before we jump into specific mechanics and stuff, just to run you through the basics of the game.
You know how much I hate this hocus-pocus nonsense, Faustus. Now you want to tell me just what the hell is so important?
Sleeping Mother, Sacred Harbinger, awaken and reclaim what is yours. You who rise with the moon in darkness, who prepares the path for the midnight sun. Turn your merciless eyes upon us, and arise!
Nice show, Doc. Next time, call Seymour. Better yet, I'll just shoot you and save us all the trouble.
I can feel it, Rox. Trouble in the air. More innocent blood joining you soon. Head back to your magic castle. You ain't welcome here.
It's called a sanctum. And welcome or not, this is where fate has determined the Sorcerer Supreme needs to be.
Tell fate. Answers no.
This is the secret guardian you dragged me 5,000 miles to meet?
Who's the mouth?
Mr. Stark is brash, but I assure you, he can be trusted.
Wait, you seriously don't know who I am?
The fabric of magic is shifting, Johnny. The prophecy of the Midnight Sun is upon us.
Your last crusade cost me plenty. This time I intend to look after my own.
Hey pal, I don't think you understand. Things are changing. 2 + 2 no longer equals 4. Up is sometimes down, and strange here is actually starting to make sense.
Do I look like someone who gives a damn about any of that?
No, you look like you should be bouncing for the double deuce. Listen, all I know is hell's coming, and my pal here says you can help.
That's where you're wrong. Hell's not coming. It's already here. You're welcome, Robo-Man.
Iron Man? It's okay. It's fine. I know what he meant.
Alright, so, as I said, this is all recorded from an event, so I'm not playing this live, but this was me playing the actual game. I am going to be talking through dialogue and stuff. You can read it in the background if you want. I'm going to be explaining things to you as we go, but these things, the tutorials and stuff, will pop up because I was learning as I was playing. But yeah, the first laugh the game got out of me was the Robo Man right there. There's actually there's quite a bit of humor in this. I mean, it is Marvel, so it does make sense. They like to add some humor in every once in a while. Sometimes it's hit, sometimes it's miss, but there you go. Anyway, so if you haven't heard anything about this game at all yet, this is made by the people who made the XCOM games, or XCOM franchise. So obviously a lot of strategy is involved. It is a turn-based game, similar to XCOM, except instead of, you know, having soldiers in space, you're controlling superheroes. The actions that you can do are defined by this card-based system. So as you can see right here, I'm using one of my cards, which is called Blast. You have 3 actions per turn that you can do, or 3 card plays, I should say specifically, because there are other things like moving and such that you'll see later, which don't impact the action card plays that you can do. So you can do card plays, you can move, you can also refresh cards if you don't like the cards you have in your hand, so you can change them over. You also keep the cards that are in your hand until next turn, essentially. But yeah, you have different statistics. So this card, for example, as it said, is a heroic card. So you have attack cards, you have skill cards, and you have heroic cards. So attack cards will give you heroism, which you can then spend on heroic cards. So that one will damage all enemies on the field. So even if there's 10 enemies or whatever, he will hurt all of them with the special attack that he used. And he being Iron Man, or actually Robo Man, of course. So yes, it also explains here there's minions and elite. So minions will die no matter what damage they take. It doesn't, like, there's always going to be these types of enemies in the game. They're really good because later on you'll see there's a mechanic called Quick, where if you kill an enemy with a quick ability, you basically get your card play back, so you can play another card that turn, which is really solid. So you can grind them for extra actions, essentially. You can see here we got the Axe of Angarumus from Doctor Strange as well. We haven't got enough heroism yet, so we need to play our other cards to get heroism. You'll see in the bottom left of each card, you'll see it in a second, how much heroism you get from playing a card. A card is always one card play. There's no mana cost or anything attached to that. A card is just a card. So you can see in the bottom left of this one, it says +1. It also has knockback, so you can target an enemy and then knock him into another enemy, which means that enemy then also takes damage. You can also knock them into, like, for example, there's explosive barrels and things like that. You can knock them into that. That's obviously not right now, but later on you'll see as well. Really cool. So yes, there's quite a bit of depth. Obviously, right now we're just controlling 2 basic characters. We get some basic cards. It's all scripted, the early events, because the game wants to teach you its early mechanics. But later on, obviously, it becomes more randomized. You start building a bit of your own deck as well. You can upgrade your cards, and there's a lot of different things that come into play later on. I should also mention, by the way, in case this wasn't clear, I'm not sponsored or anything. I was obviously invited to the studio, but I wasn't paid to do this. They paid for everything, but that's not what I mean. But just like, you know, obviously I'm excited about the game, but take my opinion with a grain of salt, or not a grain of salt, take my opinion with, is it a grain of salt? Maybe it is. Because I'm clearly extra excited because I was invited to an event for this, but I do legitimately enjoy this kind of game. I mean, people who know me will know that this is the exact game that you can sign me up for any day. But yeah, now we're being taught about skill cards. So we got a skill card here, which will give us some block, or whatever it's called. It'll tell me in a second. I don't remember. This was a week ago. Yeah, it is block. So we can see above the enemies who they're going to attack. Not right now, but you'll see it again in a second. Most of them are going to be attacking Doctor Strange, so we want to be protecting Doctor Strange with that little defense. You can see the little icons above their head, though. That's the Doctor Strange icon. In fact, all of them are attacking Doctor Strange. No one's attacking Iron Man, which is why it's supposed to do that. And then yeah, we've got the knockback ability again. Again, pretty early stuff right now, so it's just giving us the basic ability every time. It also hasn't taught us how to move yet, so right now, when you use this knockback ability, it's just I think it's a 90-degree angle or so behind the enemy that you can knock it back into, but it hasn't taught me how to move yet, so I can't move into a better position to hit multiple enemies, so right now it's basically just like, giving me the option to only hit one of them. I was trying to figure out how to move, but I just can't do it yet, because the game doesn't want me to do it yet, essentially. So I'm trying to figure out if I can make him hit something. I can make him go into the rock there, but it doesn't actually do any extra damage or anything. Pretty sure there was actually a way to kill him by hitting him into the other rock. I just noticed, but I apparently missed it while playing. I actually made quite a few mistakes while playing this. I noticed this early on as well. As I was playing, we were basically told that we had like the amount of stuff that we were allowed to play was about between 4 and 5 hours, so I was trying to rush through and make sure I actually managed to see all of it, which I did in the end, but it meant early on I made a couple of technical errors every once in a while, and then as I was doing it I was like, oh shit, I could have done that better, like I could have knocked him into a piece of something else or whatever. So you can see we have enough heroism now, we can just use air superiority immediately, which does 5 damage to all enemies on the entire map. And there you go, this is a pretty good example of the power of Iron Man. I do actually use most heroes that I got to use during this event as well. There was one I didn't get to use. I'll probably make a video on the heroes at some point as well, and show you what they can do. But yeah, I have a bunch of ideas. Like, this is just an introduction. I wanted to show like the first 30 minutes or so, just because it's a nice little introduction for you as well. It means the mechanics get taught in front of you, and I don't have to worry about explaining it too much myself. You can just see it happening on the screen while I talk about it. But I also want to do maybe a first impressions, just talking about generally what I thought about the game, or at least the part that I got to play. This is the beginning of the game, by the way. I'm pretty sure that was clear already, but just in case. So it's teaching us about environmental attacks. So you can just pick up a rock and chuck it, but there's also other things you can do. Chucking a rock doesn't cost a card or anything, it just costs your heroism, so different size things that you could do that will do different kinds of damage will cost different amounts of heroism, so pretty sure the rock just cost 1 to chuck. This is where I found out that I already made a bit of an error, because I could have killed that one over there, and then there would have been some other ones that were near rocks, and I could have killed those. So this one actually ends up being able to attack Doctor Strange. That perhaps I could have killed last turn, but I hadn't because I didn't realize. But yeah, I was talking earlier about the reinforcements. So yeah, there's lots of different mechanics that sorry, not reinforcements, the minions. So lots of different mechanics that you get to use to grind the minions essentially, and then combo into doing other things. Like I said, there's quick, which allows you to, if you kill something off, it could be anything actually, but it's easiest to kill a minion. Obviously, you just straight up get your card play back. There's other things like the knockback you've seen, where you knock enemies back into each other. You can kill multiple at a time. There's also like beam attacks that go in a straight line through all enemies in a row. There's area of effect attacks. I should probably shut up now, it's cutscene time.
The collective works of the universe's greatest sorcerers, and he left them underneath the takeout menus.
Shifting mystical polarities are wreaking havoc on my portals.
You don't say. You okay, kid?
Yes. Are you?
Let's, put a pin in that. Whoa. Carol.
Bruce and I have been trying to reach you. He'd have come himself, but he's...
Oh, you did the big green guy proud.
I really should up my homeowner's insurance.
Hydra!
Miss Maximoff, the wards of protection, if you please.
Stephen, I can fight. I've got control now.
Then show me by activating the wards. In the meantime, in honor of our missing companion, the rest of you may feel free to smash away.
Smash. So yeah, you'll see some more. Here's the photon beam, which is just damage each enemy in a straight line. Does 10 damage as well. The little damage that it does, it says in the top left of it basically. So blast has 5, photon beam has 10. Also, without spoiling too much, the idea behind this game is really cool in like what kind of enemies you fight. So obviously right now we're fighting just regular old goons, and we had some demons earlier and stuff. But I don't want to spoil too much, but you're going to be fighting superheroes as well. Some of them I'll actually be, one of them I'll be showing in a future video as well. But I don't want to say who it is just yet, because that'll just give it away. But yeah, you end up fighting superheroes too, which is really cool. Right, so now it's teaching us about the redraw ability. So it's basically saying you can't use Photon Beam right now because it costs 3 heroism, you only have 2. So you may as well redraw and see if you can find something a little bit more useful. I am also currently playing with mouse and keyboard, but I ended up finding that, because they had a controller attached as well, I ended up switching to controller, I'm not sure exactly when, but after a little while, I found that it just controlled more easily. But you'll see, it doesn't really matter for you guys, obviously, but you'll see that later on. So yeah, now we're fighting in Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, I believe it's called. We got Captain Marvel as well. It's one of the other heroes. I think the amount of heroes we got to play with were 8 or 9 or something. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head right now. Most of them will get introduced later on. There's loads of them in the game. I'm actually not sure how many exactly, but there's quite a few. And obviously many that we never even got to see. So now it's telling me about how to move. I actually messed it up initially, but that's okay. You'll see. So essentially you have a limited amount of moves per turn, so you can't just move indefinitely. So essentially you can move someone, and then I believe you can keep moving them until you've done an action with them, at which point you can't move anymore. You can see in the bottom right it'll say we have now got 3 card plays, 1 moves. It doesn't have a redraw because it's still teaching us mechanics, and clearly it doesn't want us to redraw anything right now. So we got a couple new abilities as well, but it's basically saying like you gotta move first before you can do this, because it's trying to teach us how to use the environment against the enemies as well. We moved Doctor Strange over, and then I'm pretty sure I messed it up and I actually ended up moving up again, but it doesn't matter because you can move multiple times. So yeah, it's saying choose a location to move to, because I clicked too early essentially, and I was like trying to line this thing up. I was like, okay, I guess this is how we fire the couch, and then you'll see I click and I end up moving again. Good move. Anyway, that was the first time I was being taught about the mechanic. But we figured it out. I was very confused there. I was like, what? I thought you wanted me to kick the couch, and it's like, oh, all right, here we go. Now we can kick it. It's really cool. You can see the trajectory of the opponent as well, so we can kick him and make him go all the way back there, for example. And I'm not sure if that's what I end up doing. I think it might be. Oh, there you go. Look at that. And then the couch goes on and hits the other guy. So I end up killing 3 guys in 1 kick. Fucking amazing. That kind of stuff is just so much fun to mess around with. I didn't even realize I did as well as I did. That was pretty cool. Says the guy who played it himself. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Anyway, yeah, so it costs heroism to do that, though. So you basically have to constantly choose between whether you want to use your heroism on heroic cards, or if you want to use them for environmental stuff. There's also cards that will, for example, double your current heroism. Also, skill cards give more heroism, so the one I used just now actually give you 2. We got a lovely knockback. Knock him into the other fella. I think we've got another card, so we can just beat up the last guy as well. Wait for more reinforcements to show. Killing anything is just good in general. A good little jab. Captain Marvel. Lovely stuff. So we got 5 heroism now. And no enemies left to kill. Also no card plays left. So we end our turn. Or actually, I'll redraw first. Look at that. Oh, smart play. I should actually redraw first, though. But anyway. So there you go. There's a double your current heroism. I'm pretty sure I actually mess it up later on. That one, too. I use it like when I just used a bunch of heroism rather than when I had a lot of it. We got a lovely photon beam now, though. So that does 10 damage, which is 2 of those little bars. Each bar is basically 5 health. It's kind of difficult to see because the quality is only 1080p, but although I think my video might be 1440p because that's just my standard rendering setting. But yeah, it's 1080p, so it might be a little bit difficult to see. But you can see over the enemies that aren't minions, they have a little like stripe in the middle of their health bar. That means they've got 2 bars. Each one is 5 HP essentially. Later on, we'll have enemies that have way more than 10 as well, like bosses, for example. Got a lovely 3 KOs in a single ability. Good stuff. Right, so now I think I used the new plan, yeah. And I just spent 3 heroism, so I could have had 10 if I'd done this first, but I ended up with 4 instead. Because I didn't realize the ability I'd used was heroism. When you look back at it, it's really dumb, but when I was playing this myself, obviously I was still figuring shit out. I didn't know how things worked yet. Here also, I actually end up spending heroism to kill this guy in a single hit, which sounds good. But I could have just attacked him twice with abilities, because there's no other enemies anyway. I would have still killed him, and I would have had more heroism. But anyway.
The wards. Something's blocking them.
Not something. Someone. Lilith, mother of demons, harbinger of the midnight sun. Prophecy or not, you overstep, challenging the sorcerer supreme.
Be silent. Be still.
What just happened?
Ow. Be gone. No! A fellow daughter of Transia. You remind me of my own beloved.
In virtute vishanti. Well done, Miss Maximoff. Your unique energy surprised her.
Whoa! I'm fine. What? I'm fine.
The prophecy is in motion. Lilith is still out there growing stronger each second the midnight sun approaches.
Define stronger.
If we are to have any chance of stopping her, there is only one option left to us.
I won't go back there.
We all must eventually face our demons, Miss Maximoff. However, one of us should remain behind to maintain the wards of protection.
See you on the other side. Okay, you did that one on purpose.
The fabric of magic is unwinding. We are fortunate to be here at all.
And where is here, exactly?
Salem, Massachusetts. Well, a pocket dimension in Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh, suburbs. Nice.
Welcome to the Abbey. Home of the
Midnight Sun.
The hell is this? Lilith's Junior Demon League?
Wait, it's that jerk from TV. Which one?
Now, if everyone would just take a moment.
Enough!
You're standing on my flowers.
Oh, been a long time, Sarah.
It's caretaker now.
If I could have avoided this moment, I would, but...
Oh, spare me the speech. I know Lilith's back. We're sisters after all.
Guess we're suddenly invisible now.
Shall we chat, Stephen?
No one can argue that the Hunter earned their rest in the first battle against Lilith. I only hope they are up for the task once more.
You wizards always make everything sound so lofty. I raised my sister's only child as a weapon against her.
And saved the world in the process.
Now you want me to dig them up and ask them to do it again.
I did not write the prophecy, Sarah. Besides, I am no common grave robber. We are simply reuniting their ethereal essence with their corporal form. Speaking of, it would help to have a mental image for the procedure. Spare no detail. Spiritual identity theft is no laughing matter.
Alright, so now we get introduced to the Hunter. This is actually a completely unique person that we get to create, essentially, in the game. It's a superhero of sorts, but it's unique to this game, so it doesn't exist in the Marvel universe as far as I'm aware. They did a presentation, I'm pretty sure that's what they told us. But again, that was over a week ago, and I don't remember every word they said, so... But yeah, we get to create our own character, which is kind of cool. I'm just going to talk through this last couple minutes before I will end this video. But yeah, the Hunter is basically the character that you play. So as we walk around the world, this is the character that we play. And when we get into combat, obviously we get to bring multiple people with us. Some of them you just met as well. So we had Nico, Magik, Blade, and then the guy who is Ghost... no, what's his name? The fiery fella, like Johnny Blaze. But I can't remember. I'm not too well versed with the Marvel heroes, unfortunately. I feel like it's Ghost something, but the Skull guy, anyway, Flaming Skull man, Mr. Guy. Anyway, so those are 4 of the other people we get to use during this as well. I'm pretty sure actually that's all of them. So we have Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, those 4 that I just mentioned. Obviously the Hunter himself, we get to use in every mission. And I think that's it, or I may have missed someone. But yeah, it's not a huge amount of people, but it's early in the game, obviously. This is the beginning of the game. So yeah, creating my character here. And then basically, when this is over, that'll be the introduction, and Chapter 1 will start. But I'm not gonna just make a video, like a playthrough, because I'm actually not allowed to do that. I just wanted to show the specifically, like, the introduction sequence that leads up to Chapter 1. But yeah. Actually, pretty decent character creator as well, but especially because it's single player, so it doesn't, you know, it's not like you're gonna see a bunch of mimics of yourself walking around. And of course, the fact that you can make, well, it says it's not male or female technically, it's body type, but yeah, we all know. So it's a nice little, because the way they showed it initially was all female stuff. I was like, oh, I wonder if you have to play as a female, but no, it's both available, which is always nice. I couldn't decide on the haircut. I eventually decided on this one, I think. But yeah, there you go. That's the character creator. It's not too bad.
Child of light and darkness, you who tame the night, hear the voice of those who beseech thee and...
The caller! Wait! Wait! Ah!
Mother.
So, that's a good thing, right?
Sarah. Where is she?
As far as resurrection spells are concerned, I've seen worse. Particularly on myself.
Tony, come on. It's perfectly safe.
That thing wakes up and takes a bite out of you. Don't blame me.
Visiting hours are over.
You can't stay here forever.
There's nowhere else I should be.
Just saw that Stark guy poking around behind the mirror table.
Find me as soon as they awaken. And Blade, be nice.
Always am.
Alright. That is essentially where the introduction ends. So I'm gonna stop the video after this little cutscene as well. But there's not really anything else here. So there you go. Now we go into part 1, The Awakening. But I'm not going to show you that. It's Ghost Rider, by the way. The guy that I was talking about just now. Anyway, that's going to be that for now. Thank you guys so much for watching the introduction to Marvel's Midnight Suns. Like I said, I'll be doing a bunch more videos. I've got some ideas, maybe a first impressions, maybe a video where I talk about all the heroes and what abilities they have initially anyway, because of course they get more later on. Maybe something, well, I want to do one on specifically the boss battle, which I'm not going to say who that is yet, but if you have any other ideas, things that you, obviously this is all new to you as well, but if you have an idea of something that you might want to see that I may be able to show, just let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do, because there's no restriction on how many videos I'm allowed to do. I'm just not allowed to do Let's Play style videos, and I'm not allowed to show like one or two things. Like, I'm not allowed to show any cosmetic skins or marketplace menus. So yeah, if you have any ideas, just let me know, and I'll see what I can do. And besides that, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day, and goodbye.